Most of my lives have been much bigger horses. Like, ooh, ooh, yes. Ooh, I think you understand them as drafts, where they're big and they pull all the big heavy equipment. And yes, they're much bigger. And those are the ones I enjoy so much because, well, one, we're so big we can see over everything. And two, well, ooh, that understanding of being the boss. You don't even have to try to be the boss because when you're that big, you're just the boss. So I think that
Yes.
might be some of what I'm feeling now when I feel that energy from Hickory. I want to be that big, bossy energy, but it's hard in this little body.
Hi, everyone. It's Candace Craw Goldman again from quantumhealers.com. And it's another episode of Animal Talk with Will and Allison Brown. Hi, guys.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
Well, it's very windy here in Kansas. I did send Allison a video of the horse we're going to talk to today, just because he's been awful cute. His name's Harris. So let's catch some people up or sort of set the stage here with what we're doing. My beautiful friends here are fantastic animal communication team. Will is a channel, and one of their arms of their services and business is talking to animals. So is there anything you guys want to say about that?
Just that we have a lot of horse energy in our field
Yes.
over the past probably 6 months.
Yes.
So it'll be fun to do this session again because the horses have a lot to teach us. So
Yeah, we've been introduced to many new clients and particularly through a particular podcast that we did that introduced us to a lot of individuals that are horse owners. And so a lot of our sessions have been specifically horses, which has been very interesting. So,
yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, someday I'm going to make a clip here. Maybe we can do a video short. You guys can send it to him. Warwick Schiller, he's amazing. I find myself yelling in a good way at the screen or at the podcast saying, I was doing that when he does something when all the horse people around me told me I shouldn't be doing that. I mean, it has happened so many times. He's like my hero. And I think it'd be a lot of fun to catch up with him and have us all talk about all of this, if that could possibly happen someday. It's sort of a dream of mine.
That would be. That'd be a
awesome.
blast.
All right. So for those of you who are listening, what we have done before is Will and Allison have actually talked to my horse Luna Bell, and that's been a number of years now, right?
Yep.
And then that was an interesting conversation. We talked to at least one dog and a few different cats, I think is the way that's worked. And then we talked to our donkey Elvis. So we have history with Luna, who's 3/4 Andalusian, 1/4 Arabian mare, who's never been a horse before, who's the most intense horse I've ever met. And she wasn't what I ordered from the universe at all. But I constantly walk up and go, okay, I must have needed her, and I have. And my bet, as we've learned a lot from her, but she's not a riding horse. She's not an easy horse. She's very opinionated, but anyway, that's Luna. We did have her mare. Her Mama Bell was with us for a while, but Mama Bell has passed, and then my horse Rio has also passed, and I don't think we talked to either of them.
I don't think so.
But you know what? Put it on your list, because I think that would be an interesting sort of PS to even what we're doing today. And some of what we're doing today is now talking to another horse named Harris. And Harris is still with us. He's a 20-year-old forest pony. And he's had, I haven't had him his whole life or anything like that. I got him, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago, something like that. I'm going to be not good with timing on that. He's a forest pony. He's not tiny pony, but he's short enough to be classified a pony. And he's a real sweetheart. He really is. But he didn't end up being the kind of athletic or brave horse that I wanted and needed after my beautiful Rio, who was a paint gelding, passed on just last year. Or I guess, yes, it was just last year. And so we brought in Hickory. And much of our series and work we've done together here on Animal Talk has been about Hickory. And you know what? As you were saying 6 months, I was going like this underneath the table. That was 6 months ago. Exactly, almost.
Wow.
Where all of this was happening. And it was the craziest thing too, because Warwick came into your life and Allison even asked, like, do you know who that is? And it happened right, I think, at the time that I actually discovered him. And I think I may even answered Allison, no. But then he came up on my radar. And then it was later, I was like, oh my God, you talked to him? And Allison was like, I told you that. And I'm like, I don't even know. It seemed all happened at the same time. And I wasn't paying very close attention, but maybe I just hadn't quite discovered him yet between those two times that we talked. So it has been about 6 months since Hickory's been here. And one of the things that's going on here, just to sort of set the stage, Hickory and Elvis, the donkey, from the minute they saw each other, just like my horse Rio, they were buds, man. I mean, they were fine. They were like they'd known each other forever and ever, and it was great. Their interaction was great. Not so much with the other two at all. Now, I knew about Hickory before coming in. He was kind of bossy. But I thought that wasn't going to be a problem. Why? Because the horse who had passed about a year ago, Rio, he was the boss. He was the absolute herd boss. So I kind of thought, well, he'll just slot right in, right? And the answer is nope.
It's like family dynamics, right?
That didn't happen. I mean, the happiest thing for any horse owner is to be able to put everybody out together. And we haven't really done that. Luna and Hickory have had some time together, but in general, the donkey and Hickory hang out a little bit, or Hickory hangs out alone. They can always see each other. They almost always share a fence, a very sturdy fence. So they can touch noses, they can groom themselves if they want, but that's actually not really what's been happening. Mostly there's a lot of Hickory being protective and challenging to, did I say that? Harris being protective and challenging to Luna, or with Luna, to Hickory. And in a fight, if you were to see a fight between two horses, Harris and Hickory, Harris is like sort of the slightly chubby, very much older, much shorter, non-muscular dude. That's Harris.
Dad bod.
Yes, and then there's Hickory. And Hickory's more of an athlete of a horse than I have ever owned in my life. I mean, he's like an Olympian. He's like a rocket underneath me, and he's very opinionated. He's very sensitive. He has a lot of get up and go, and he does want to be boss, and he would want to be with them. And odds are they would all work it out. But quite frankly, my heart is still tender from my last two losses. And I haven't put them together. I haven't. They can touch, they can kiss, they can nuzzle even if they want, but I have not put them, they've shared fence lines. And some people do that. Boarding facilities do that sometimes to keep their boarders safe so that, things don't happen and people don't get really upset about somebody else's horse hurting their horse at a facility. So this is not an uncommon thing. And quite frankly, the donkey and the two other horses, they're kind of chunky monkeys, and Hickory's not. So Hickory can have more grass, more pasture. The others, I have to monitor their consumption a little bit more. So that's the setup here. That's the kind of what's going on here. We wanted to talk to Harris, some of the questions I have about that. And then, but what you all should know is since we last talked, I have a number of times, maybe half dozen, I have put Hickory and Harris together on the horse trailer together. It's a stock horse trailer. So one goes in, I close the door, and so they sort of sit sideways, and then another one goes in and I close the door, and I've driven them around. And the bonus of them sort of learning that they're going someplace together, even though I haven't gone other than just run around the farm, is Luna gets so upset about that she runs, and that's her exercise.
Oh my gosh.
The consequences, exercise.
Yes, it's like, I mean, it's truly killing two birds with one stone, doing all that. Plus, I would like to do this. I would like to take those boys to fun shows together, tie one, ride the other, so that they both get used and they both go and do things. And that is my goal. And so we're going to talk about all of that today. And with all of that long setup.
Well, I do have a question. So can you, because I don't know, but a forest pony, what is the term forest? Does that just mean out in the forest? I mean, or is there some other meaning to that?
Thank you for asking. Actually, forest ponies, I hope I'm saying this correctly, because somebody out there will correct me, or I'll go look it up for sure later. But actually, they're a breed of horse that were like, you guys have those wild ponies out
in Virginia.
Yes, and some of the other wild Mustangs. It's an actual breed of pony, and it's European. And have you heard of like the New Forest? Okay, so that is giving me goosebumps. I must be correct. Suddenly, I have goosebumps saying this. I actually, when I went to the UK a few years back, and I met Magenta Pixie, she lives there. She lives in the place in the UK where these horses, a number of them still are given free range and free, freedom to move about this place in England. And it is a particular breed of horse or pony. And it's small and very stocky, usually very long manes and tails. And there you go, forest pony.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And we'll have a picture up for everybody so you can see Harris.
So now I envision who is the now it's escaping me, but back in the castle days, the medieval days, in the forest, Sherwood Forest and all of that, with the ponies. So yes, that's what I envision in my head now. So yes.
Yes, that's what he is.
Cool.
All right. I'm anxious to talk to him and see what we can do about this herd business.
Yeah. And he, one of the reasons I got Harris, I should say, is he wasn't, I think I said that already. He wasn't really brave, and I wanted to get a horse that would step out a little bit more. And I'm sure hoping that Harris can kind of come around. I mean, a happy thing would be, I'd love to be able to, we call it pony. When you ride a horse and hold a horse, that's called ponying another horse. That'd be my dream. I used to do that with Rio and Mama Bell all the time.
Well, we shall see.
Okay, let's talk to Harris. Here we go.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to get off screen here.
All right. Just to get all the energy settled and get connected together, I'm just going to ask just to take a couple deep cleansing breaths. Nice long inhale through the nose, nice long exhale through the mouth. Just as you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and begin. hello.
Hi, Harris.
Hello. Forgive me, but where am I?
You're here in the treehouse speaking to us in a human voice so we can understand you better.
Interesting. Yes, it was. Ooh. Forgive me, but I must take a minute to just get comfortable.
That's quite all right.
It's a bit of a journey here. So, yes, it was. I was hearing my name, and I could feel like a shiver take over me, and then all of a sudden, here I am. So yes, it's, yes, just, okay, yes.
Well, we appreciate
much better,
you joining
yes.
us. And actually, it's your energy that's with us, but your
Yes.
body is still back on the farm.
Yes, I understand that, and so that's why I say it's just. I don't think I've experienced anything like this, so just settling in. Yes.
Well, we appreciate you doing that, Harris. And actually, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we've spoken to many of the other animals on the farm.
Yes, I'm aware of. Well, yes, many of them having conversations, but I didn't understand exactly quite the conversation they were having, but now I do. So yes, this is going to be quite exciting, I think. Yes.
Right, it will be. Thank you. And actually, your mom is here with us watching.
Yes, I sensed that.
Would
Yes.
you like to say hello?
Oh, yes, I would. Hello, Mother. Oh, goodness. I understand that, well, that you may have put all this together, so thank you for that. And I'm quite looking forward to, well, having this conversation, because I know that we talk quite a bit, but now that the words are just like you say them, it's going to be interesting now how I can look at you and you look at me, and I wonder, it might not be that I'll be able to say them from my lips, but that voice that I talk to you with is going to be much more clear, I think. So yes, thank you for this opportunity. And I just also want to say thank you so much for all that you do. You're always so present with all of us. You're always right there, just as we need you. And yes, we can hear you speaking to us even before you leave the house. We know you're coming, and we know that you're talking to us, and you're getting everything ready. So I thank you for that. And now, goodness, I think the conversations, there's going to be plenty to talk about now.
Yes. I think you're right. And do you remember your mom coming out a few hours ago and she was taking a video of you and telling you that you were going to have this conversation?
Yes, but I wasn't quite sure exactly what she was meaning by having a conversation. I knew that, yes, it was going to be something like the others had, but I still didn't understand. But now I understand, yes.
Wonderful. Do you mind then if we ask you some questions?
Go right ahead, that's fine.
Wonderful. Yes. I'd like to ask you some questions about your history on the farm.
Okay.
And before you arrived, but when you arrived at the farm, you settled into the herd with Mama Bell and Luna and Rio. And you got along really well, and you allowed Rio to kind of be in charge, be the herd leader.
Yes.
But once Mama Bell and Rio both passed, and then Hickory was brought in,
yes,
things have changed a bit with your personality. We're curious if you could talk to us about that from your perspective. What is the dynamic there?
Oh, yes. Yes, there has been some adjustment that is taking place. Where before, how do I explain? Well, you see, because I didn't grow up there, I was brought in. It was comfortable to just kind of walk right into it, because everyone just seemed to take care of everyone else, and everyone just understood their role. And so I I did what I needed to do. They were doing what they needed to do. Yes, we would look at Rio and understand, well, Rio is the one that had all the understanding because, well, mother taught him correctly. So we all followed Rio, and it was okay with that, and I was okay with that, and everyone else was okay with that. But then when they finally transitioned, well, that took all of that, well, I guess you would understand it, all of that energy out of all of us, kind of left us wondering, well, who's going to be in charge? Because we really didn't understand how to be in charge. We wanted to, but we just looked at each other like, well, do we really need to have someone in charge? I think we can do this all on our own and be comfortable with that. So that's kind of what we did for that short amount of time. And yes, then, well, Hickory arrives. Well, that was interesting because for a moment there, everyone, just for a short amount of time, everyone was okay. There was some adjustment, and everyone just kind of settled for just a moment. We still understood that there wasn't going to be the need for someone to be that leader. But then I think Hickory understood himself to be that leader. Even though, well, I have a bit of age on Hickory, and when it's a bit difficult. When he decided that he was going to be the stronger one, I wanted to make sure to let him know that, well, that's kind of my role, but I've not done it before, but I'm going to do what I need to do to show you that it's my role. And I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I'm going to try. And it just got uncomfortable. And so I want Hickory to understand that he can have that role, but he's just a bit much. And everyone on the farm, even back before, before their transition, there wasn't the need to have a strong leader, one that was a bit bossy, one that needs to boss everybody around and just lead everyone around. We all understood what we needed to do, even though there was, yes, Rio was that one, but he wasn't bossy all the time. But Hickory tends to be a bit bossy all the time. And so that's when, well, because I'm older, I'm going to be a bit bossy back to him and let him know that we can't have this and we have to just relax a little bit, because everything was fine before, but now we're just trying to settle everything out. And I think it's going to take some more time, because I know Mother's been trying her best to get us together and to, well, bring us alongside each other. But it's like, for short amount, I can tolerate and understand. I don't know if Hickory does, but yes, it's a bit challenging.
I understand, and thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you for taking the time to share your feelings.
Yes.
And help us understand it from your perspective.
Yes. See, how Mother's raised us, it's different than what I'm used to. So I stepped into a family that was comfortable already. So it was easy just to take in that role and be okay with that. And Mother's taught us that, I don't know the correct word, to be okay with each other, and to, well, oh yes, be respectful to each other. And I think sometimes Hickory doesn't understand that just yet. There's still some adjusting that's needed. And so we're all trying to respect each other, but Mother tries as best as she can. And we're all trying to do our best to, well, get along. And it's just at times challenging.
I understand.
Yes.
Do you think, given Hickory's personality, that he'll finally relax a bit?
I feel at times I have to just keep a bit of pressure on him to let him know that he may be the stronger one and he may be the bossy one, but he also has to understand that, well, I'm a bit older than he is, and he needs to understand that, and well, yes, respect that, and allow everyone just to settle and be comfortable. Even for Elvis and everyone else, there's times when Hickory's around, everyone's hairs kind of stand up a little bit, because we're not quite sure exactly what he's going to want to do right at that moment. So we just have to watch just to make sure everything's comfortable. Even though Elvis gets along, he's still got one eye that's just making sure that everything is just going to be okay.
That's really interesting, because it's not unlike what happens in the human world, where you have a well-oiled machine at work, and then you get a new boss, and the new boss is quite bossy.
Yes.
And comes in and disrupts the apple cart. And it takes a little bit of time for that community to develop again, and for the boss to kind of mellow.
Well, I'm not quite sure about that, but see, well, when I can't say it's the same way, maybe to a certain point, but see, what we have to deal with is a lot of, you understand instinct. Well, instinct is something that goes much further back. So it's not just how we're raised when we first arrive. It's all of those different times that we've been a horse or some other animal. All those instincts are always present. And so we have to adjust to all those different instincts. So I'm not quite sure all of Hickory's instincts, but it seems like he wants to keep everyone kind of aware of his presence. Just making sure that, well, when he's out, that everyone's just making sure that he's present with everyone. And we want to be able to just relax when we're out and not have to, well, what's he doing now? Do I have to worry about what he's doing? And even though we may go right up to the fence with him, there's still just a bit there that, okay, not quite sure what you're going to do at the moment, but I'm going to just keep my eye on you, just to make sure.
Right,
Yes.
right. That makes a lot of sense. Your mom wonders, though, you've been a little bit less patient with her. Are you upset with her about this whole change?
Oh, no, no, I'm not upset at all. It's just, it's letting Mother know that, well, I'm trying to adjust, and I'm trying to fill that role, that elder role, I guess you could say, and it's a bit difficult. So I may not have as much patience with Mother at times, because I've given all my patience to Hickory and just trying to adjust to all that. So I'm not trying to take anything out on Mother at all. No, I just, at times I'm just a bit, I guess you would say, frustrated. Yes.
I understand. Thank you
Yes.
for being honest.
I'm trying my best to adjust to it all, and I'm okay with the changes. I was hoping that, well, like how I just entered into the family and settled in, and everything seemed to be okay, that, well, the same, even before Hickory showed up, Mother was telling us that there's going to be a new horse, there's going to be someone new, and everything will be okay. And that's what we were expecting, that, well, he'd just settle in and understand, well, this is how this family works. But I don't know. I guess maybe because maybe he didn't have that kind of family before. So now he's just adjusting to being just in a relaxed family, I guess.
That's a
Not
good
one,
point.
not one that's always doing something. Yes, I think he has a lot of energy that he wants to get out and needs to do things. So I think once he gets to do a lot of things and maybe exercise more and go run some more and do all kinds of, I don't know, activities, then that might calm him a bit, and he'll just be present when he's around us.
I think you're right, Harris. Thank you for all of that.
Yes.
So I want to ask about your past before you came to the farm.
Yes.
Apparently your previous mother used you for just dressage in an arena mostly.
Yes.
But your current mom now wants to take you on trail rides and in the woods and things like that. And
Yes.
you really don't seem to have ever liked that. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, yes. That's an interesting. It's an interesting thing because, well, I can say I've had plenty of plenty of lives where I've been just enjoying myself out in the pasture and out in the woods and on the trails, and this life, well, I kind of have both, and so what I'm used to, yes, is the nice, the nice arena and just the nice stables and just the comfortableness of not having to worry about, being in the woods or on trail. But I know that Mother would like me to do that, and I know she's talking to me about it. I hear her, and I'm trying to let her know that one step at a time, because I know that she, well, a lot of her focus right now is with Hickory and trying to get that adjusted. And I know that, well, I know that she's wanting us to do stuff together, but getting out in the woods, it just feels different. I don't know. There's something about going and understanding what an arena feels like, or that, to being out in the woods and on a trail. I would like to explore that more, but I don't know. I think it'll take some time, because I don't want to say, I don't want to say I was pampered, and I don't want to say that I'm being pampered, but I lived, before coming to Mother's, a rather, I'll say, just comfortable life, where that's all I needed to do and that's all I needed to know. But now, learning all about trails and out in the woods, that's a whole nother thing. And I know that, well, I know that there's something in me that wants to go, but then there's another portion of me that says, well, you're okay right where you are and you're comfortable. So maybe it's just you need to relax a little bit. So
I see.
I don't know. I want to honor that for Mother, but it's a bit difficult for me to think about that. So I'm not quite sure how to answer that.
I see. Well, thank you, Harris. You were honest again, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
You also had some hoof issues a while back that seem to have recovered. How are you feeling?
Yes. Mother's done a good job with that. I'm feeling very good. there's still a few little tender spots, but it's going away quite quickly. So yes, I do appreciate all the work that she's done for that. Yes.
And
I
what
do
about the
feel good.
medications that you're taking to help handle your sugar, the sugar in your system? Is that working?
Yes, that's interesting because how do I say this? It when I have it, when mother gives that to me, it's like I feel fine before, and then immediately after, I get a little. I don't know how you would say that. Oh, yes, that where right after you wake up, you feel refreshed and you feel ready to go, but then you start to walk a little bit and everything gets just a little uncomfortable, and then that goes away. So I don't know if that's the medicine or if it's just me, but that's usually what happens. I get that, I feel like I'm ready to go, and then I take a couple steps and things get just a little off balance, and then it goes away right away. So,
I see.
yes.
Would you call it dizziness, like you might fall over or stumble?
It starts in my stomach and then it kind of goes to my head. So I don't know if it'd be that where I want to fall over, but I just feel like I have to just stop for a moment and then it goes away and then I'm fine.
I see.
Yes.
Can you do a body scan and let us know if there's anything else that your mom needs to be aware of?
Yes. Oh, yes. Everything seems to be just fine. There's just some around my hips, and I guess you would say my back too, where it's just at times a bit uncomfortable. It's after yes. If I stand in one spot for too long, then everything gets a little tight, and so I have to just go slow, and after a few steps, it loosens up. But it's still a little uncomfortable, but I can deal with that. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you for checking on that.
Yes.
I am curious, have you always incarnated as a horse? Or have you?
Yes, it's always been a horse. Yes. Oh, most definitely. Yes. This is not my first time being a horse at all. No. Yes. Yes. Oh. Oh yes. Yes. So many lives to look at. Yes. Yes. For this life, this is the first time being in this type of body. Most of my lives have been much bigger horses. Like, yes. I think you understand them as drafts, where they're big and they pull all the big heavy equipment. And yes, they're much bigger. And those are the ones I enjoy so much because, well, one, we're so big we can see over everything. And two, well, that understanding of being the boss, you don't even have to try to be the boss, because when you're that big, you're just the boss. So I think
Yes.
that might be some of what I'm feeling now when I feel that energy from Hickory. I want to be that big, bossy energy, but it's hard in this little body. So
I see, I do.
yes.
Was there anything notable in any of those lives that would help us to understand you better?
Oh goodness. Um, oh yes. This is the first time too where I haven't really had to work hard. And I enjoy that. I do enjoy some work. Yes, oh yes, being the big horses, yes, that's all we ever did. But even some of the other horses, I like, I I don't know, what you would, yes, I like, I like having a task. I like having things to do and being able to figure things out. And I know that Mother gives me small tasks, but I do, it keeps me thinking about things. So yes, because I haven't really done a lot of hard work in this life. So I think maybe that too, I'm missing some of that.
Oh, I see, that makes a lot of
Yes,
sense.
yes. Yes, I see that.
Well, Harris, this has been very enlightening, and we so appreciate your perspective about what's going on at the farm.
Oh, yes.
Your mom does really want to give you more exercise and attention, preferably at the same time as Hickory, so hopefully we can help to make that work.
Yes, I think in time, and it's only been a short while as Hickory's been with us, and I think he too is just still trying to settle in and figure things out. And I know that Mother's working with him quite a bit. So yes, I think there's still some time that everything will just settle out fine. But we're all trying to figure out exactly who's going to be the boss. Yes.
I see that, thank you.
Yes.
So before we close, is there anything else that you need your mom to know while you have
goodness.
this voice?
Well, I know she tells all of us all the time how much she loves us, and we tell her back, but there's something special about being able to use the same words. So I'm going to say it very loud. I want to say how much I love you, and I know that well, we know that we're all meant to be with you, and we're all doing our best. And so I just want to say for all of us too, that we all love you and all the things you do, because your heart, we can feel it so many miles away, and it's always with us. So thank you.
Oh, Harris, that was so lovely. It's
Thank
been
you.
such a pleasure getting to talk to you today. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, so Harris, my beautiful Harris, with that wonderful love tribute right away. It
I
was
know.
I almost was like trying to unmute myself and say, I love you, Harris.
He knows, he said he knows, but oh my gosh, I don't usually have favorites, but I kind of have a favorite. He was so sweet.
Really,
Oh my
really
gosh.
He was very, very
And he
sweet.
was so earnest and so heartfelt and trying to parse his words so that he didn't hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that, and just to tell you how he felt. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
It's
yes.
lovely.
Earnest is a great word for Harris. Great word. Do you remember the energy? What it felt
Yeah,
like?
so I mean, when I'll say the full force of his energy settled in, it presented very big.
And it took him a while,
Yeah.
if you recall, for him to get adjusted.
I could feel it there, kind of just, it was like, it'd be like if you were to try to call him over, and he's just like, I don't know if I want to trust you just yet. But when he does, when he acknowledges, boom, it hit. And it was like this big, overwhelming energy. I was expecting, because from what you were describing,
Well, he's a pony, yeah.
yeah, I was kind of expecting this gentle little energy. No, this energy it hit like a ton of bricks, and it was like, whoa.
Well, he did say he had been a draft horse and a big
Yes.
horse in many
Oh,
lives.
okay.
So he feels that his energy is bigger than it is
Well,
now.
and these ponies are stocky ponies. He's got
Yeah.
a big neck, and I was looking on my phone because you know what I did, which is a lot of fun, and I will edit it into this. We have Ring cameras out there.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've done this much or often, but while you were channeling Harris, I was recording video of him.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So we'll actually have, like, when it was happening, and most of the time he was eating off a great big hay bale. And I didn't do it for the entire time, but I will add that a little later. So
oh, neat.
Yeah, we have certain pet sessions that people express at the end that the animal could be nowhere to be found, but as soon as I drop into their energy, they just like come running in and want to be like right on their lap
screen,
or
yeah.
on screen or whatever. Yeah. So
well, what's interesting is right where the camera was, that's right where he was. So it was almost like he was asking for that. I mean,
Yeah.
it was great. But so here's an interesting thing. You've done a number of horses. The part that surprised me, it didn't surprise me that he's been a horse a lot. That didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me at all that he was like, this first time I was little, although he's never been, I loved he basically was saying this as far as I'm concerned. Well, I was comfortable. Everyone was comfortable. When I came here, I just slid into the comfortableness. Why can't Hickory do that?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of what he said, right?
Yeah. We had this nice little family. Who the heck do you think
We
you are?
have this thing going here where there
Right.
didn't have to be a leader or a boss, and he comes in and ruins it.
Yeah. And he's so bossy.
He's so bossy.
Bossy.
Yeah,
But he's bossy all the time.
See, now that
They said Rio was a leader, but he wasn't a boss all the time. He lightened up a little bit.
He did. So yeah, too much cowbell, too much boss, too much of him. It's just a bit much.
And he said his patience was already worn thin, so by the time you come around, he doesn't have any patience left for you.
I guess. Okay, so here's the part though that confuses me a little bit. So I'm going back to now with horses and knowing the dynamics. First of all, for almost always typically there's the mare is, even if there's a stallion, even if there's younger stallions, even if there's a head lead stallion who is running and having his mares, the one who, hey, cat, the one who leads the herd and who is, truly like the internal leader of the dynamics is always a mare, always a mare. It never was with us because Rio is boss. And then, of course, Hickory's trying to be boss. But the part that surprised me about the information was when he was trying to be like the elder.
Yeah.
The elder, wise horse. He was like, well, he should learn something from me because I'm a whole lot older than he is.
Right.
But, that whole part was like, Harris, you've been around other horses then, and you understand the dynamics. You didn't stand a chance. You're a gelding, you're small, and you're old. And you're overweight a little bit, not so much anymore, really. He's not overweight anymore. He was, but he's stocky and he's not athletic. He's very cute and he's wonderful and all of that. But I mean, it's just, it's like, I don't know, it's like Mike Tyson and Spanky from the Little Rascals or something. I don't know. It's just hugely different energies. And he's like, I want to be boss.
I felt that it was almost like Hickory was enacting Harris's coming in. In other words, Harris came in and acclimated. Then Hickory was doing the exact same thing, but wasn't doing it in the way that Harris did, and it's not fair. It's not fair.
It's exactly right. He didn't use those words and he didn't say it that way, but that is definitely what I got. Yeah, why couldn't he do it the way I did it?
Right. And we'd all be happy and everything would be fine. But it's not fair that he can come in and just pretend to be the boss when I came in and I didn't do that.
there's a real part of me that was listening to that and extrapolating like back kind of a little bit to our community in the forum, right? Which is like, I don't want to be the guru and tell everyone what to do and how to do it. Why can't we do it this way? Here comes this old energy back. Like, well, I want to just tell you all what to do, and yeah, he took a little bit of exception to that. From the time that we arranged all this and then rescheduled at least once, Harris has really mellowed. It almost isn't that I needed Hickory to mellow as much as even Harris. And Harris has been a little less concerned about inserting himself into these situations. Their interactions used to be a lot more lively, and now it's like, okay, we better get it over with. Let's get over to the fence. Okay, all right, we're done now. It's a little of that. It's almost like they're doing it for me or something. I don't know. But this was fantastic, and I look forward to showing you video of us.
That'll be fun.
Something together as a team, and what I mean is me and Hickory and Harris. People do this, and there's a rodeo play day arena not too far from here, and even single people will take two horses, tie one up, ride one, and then ride the other, and that is my goal, is to do that, and neither one of them have to go out into the scary woods for that to happen. And this whole time when he's talking about the woods, I have to say this part though, and I'm thinking, you're a forest pony.
Yeah.
Forest.
But for 20 years, he didn't have to do that.
That's true. He just went round in a circle, which
He said he had a comfortable life.
yes,
He's not looking to be uncomfortable at this point, Candace. Not walking over rocks and twigs and streams and all of that kind of stuff.
I have taken him out and we have ridden. It's just, especially since Dad has been here, my riding is severely curtailed.
Yeah.
And then losing the other two.
It sounds like Harris is a little bougie.
Yeah.
Harris is bougie. Comfortable was the word.
Yeah. And a homebody. Very homebody, but
he was sweet. I loved his energy.
He said he wants to do things, and that's what I'm also thinking of. And of course we will talk about this more. I'm gonna make like an obstacle and trail thing in one of my paddocks for basically something to do with horses, and it doesn't have to be speed, it's finesse and it's some other things like that. So we have a whole lot more to talk about in the future with all kinds of animals and all kinds of things. So thank you for letting me talk to my beautiful hair.
Absolutely.
Our pleasure.
This was amazing. All right. So that's it for today, everyone. And thank you, Will and Allison. You can find them on quantumhealers.com or palmandlotus.com, and the links will be right below. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
The next time of Animal Talk. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay.